Go back and revisit this issue about the excise hike in Maharashtra. Remember yesterday, all the Alcobev stocks, United Spirits, Radico Khaitan, Allied Blenders, most of them were down between 5 and 6%. So what's the way forward from here? We've got Amnish Aggarwal joining in from Prabhudas Leeladhar to give us some perspective. Amnish, good to have you on the show. So the hike is obviously pretty steep from, I think, 3 times cost of production. Now it's going to be 4.5 times cost of production for IMFL. It's come after many years. But how should we, understand the impact? Because these companies will also have partial benefit. United Spirits has said that they will benefit from the fact that the duty on the imported scotch from the FTA, UK FTA, there's that benefit as well. Just take us through how the numbers stack up.
You see, if you look at in totality, there are 2 things which have happened. First being the increase in the excise duty. And this increase in the excise duty, I think what we should think is that it can have a chain reaction. Chain reaction in the sense that in India, excise duty on liquor, it's a state subject. Now, if one state usually increases excise duty on liquor, then one can expect that there could be more number of states who can come forward and increase the excise duty on liquor in the, this year, next year, so that opens, floodgates for that. That is one. The second is that under the FTA with UK now, the duty on the imported scotch will come down, which is used on 2 things. First of all, it's used for blending with the the ENA over here to create whiskey or other products. That is one. And the second is that companies like United Spirits now, they are having these bottled in origin products, which actually practically you are selling by importing all their global brands. So while such companies will get some benefit of in the imports, but I don't think it is going to actually completely negate the impact which will be there due to the increase in the excise duty.
So which does mean that obviously it will have to be passed on and there will be a price hike, right? And that's the street's fear. What will be the ultimate quantum of the price hike? How much will the companies absorb? Will they just simply pass on the entire excise piece? And then whether demand will be hit. So what do you say to that? And what's your estimate saying?
You see, I can't give you any estimates because I'm not covering the liquor stocks per se, so I don't have a rating. But suffice to say that when it comes to, say, the consumer companies or liquor companies, are they in a position to absorb any excise increase of this quantum? The answer is no. So, large part of it is going to be passed on to the consumers. That is one. And usually, we have seen in the past that whenever the increase in your duties happen, there is definitely some impact on the demand, which might happen, say, for 1 quarter or 2 quarters, depending upon how the consumer absorbs. So I think for the next 1 or 2 quarters, we will see definitely the impact of this. And given the fact that Maharashtra has got very high proportion for, say, United Spirits and might be there for, say, some of the other liquor companies. So to that extent, the impact will come on the, performance of these companies.
Okay, all right. Hi, Amnish. Good morning. Good to see you. When you track Asian Paints, right?
Yeah.
What's the view out there? There was a large trade that recently just took place a few minutes ago. That was something the street was bracing for. Any view on the counter?
Yeah, can you please repeat?
Asian Paints. Asian Paints, there was a large trade, 3.5% of equity to change hands. The street was anticipating that. That's out of the way. What do you think? Peak competition behind or peak competition ahead for the company?
Okay. You see, we have negative view on practically the entire paints industry from quite some time. And it is not because, say, X company is good or Y company is bad. It is because the industry is undergoing a structural change. And when I'm saying structural change, it means that the competitive intensity which we are witnessing now or which we might witness in future will be very different from what we have seen in the past. And this is more because it is not that, say, for the first time any, new paint players have entered. We had all the MNCs which came to India who tried their luck. But this time around, the situation is very different. We have got a player like, say, Birla Opus, which is practically Grazim, who has put in, say, 10,000 crores of capex. Then we have got JSW, which is looking at eyeing, say, Exo. So another you can say large corporate house with deep pockets. We have got JK Cement, which has now also started advertising. Similarly, Pidilite is there in the economy segment with Haisha. Astral is there. So as against an established four-player kind of an organized market, now that number from 4 is likely to go to maybe 8, maybe 10. And unless and until there is a significant acceleration in the growth rate, everyone is going to get some kind of a hit here or there. Because if you look at, say, in the last 10, 15 years, earlier paints used to grow, say, 1.6, 1.7 times as an industry, as a proportion of GDP. Now, over the years, that has actually come down to something like, you can say it's not more than, say, 1.1 or 1.2 times. So I think this is a very, very structural change which has happened. That is one. There is very little room in this kind of a competitive environment for the companies to expand the margins or profitability significantly from here. And if you look at the stocks, I think particularly, say, for example, you refer to Asian Paints. So even after we factor in all these things, even if we presume that the volume growths are going to be pretty decent, mid to high single digit kind of a number, our profit growth is unlikely to be, say, more than, you can say, mid to high single digit, because the margins don't have any room and the stock is not inexpensive. It is, I think, still trading at something like 44-45 times at least. So there is no element of re-rating which is left in majority of the paint stock, except the companies where the stocks have got de-rated massively over the years.
Sure. Got that, Amnish. By the way, in the pre-open, the one stock to watch out for is going to be Sterlite Technologies, and that is because of this large BharatNet order. They are, of course, one of the participants in the overall chain. The other is Dilip Buildcon, which is probably doing the EPC work. And Sterlite on the back of that order is up a whole 10%, looking quite good. Otherwise, the pre-open has settled down quietly, and we have a 23-point gain on the Nifty. Amnish, since the stock came up on the screen just now, this BharatNet order, I don't know if you've had a look at it. Any thoughts? Sterlite Tech. Tejas is the other one. I mean, Tejas usually has been very active in the rollout of all these optic fiber networks and mobile connectivity, broadband connectivity. Your thoughts on any of these and the potential beneficiaries of the BharatNet rollout?
No view on this, basically.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it on that note, Amnish. Thanks very much for joining in. That's a view from Prabhudas Lildhar coming through. So